Hey Rock Hill, hope you guys are having an awesome week. Just wanted to do a follow-up from last week's message and give you a little bit of a heads up for what's coming up this week. Last week we talked about just ordinary faithfulness, a theology of the ordinary, that we don't need to be superstar Christians in order to be faithful to God. And a lot of times what I used as an illustration or an example is we don't have to be like the big world changers that people write biographies about. But I think one of the subtle things that can kind of creep into us is we may not struggle with being like John Piper or Martin Luther or any of those huge saints of the faith, but we really struggle with that person that goes to church with us that seems a little bit more gifted. Or the person that we know that just exudes the fruit of the Spirit, and we wish that we had what they had. And part of that can be good in that it can challenge us and spur us on to love and good deeds and a greater commitment to Jesus. Part of that can be really dangerous, though, subtly dangerous, because we get into the comparison game. We get into measuring ourselves by what God is doing in someone else's life, and we either puff ourselves up with pride or we become incredibly discouraged because we don't measure up. God calls us to follow Jesus and not to compare ourselves one with another. And like last week, I want to give you the freedom to be you. As we look ahead to this coming week, we're going to be talking about Christian rituals or sacraments, ordinances, whatever you want to call them. We're going to be looking at baptism and communion, two things that basically every church does, but it's about there that a lot of the agreement ends. And so we're going to look at what do we believe about baptism and what do we believe about communion? Why do we do these things, these rituals that we do over and over again that people have been doing for thousands of years? What meaning do they have? What do they illustrate? And how should they encourage our faith? And so you'll want to come and check that out this week to see why do we baptize people? Why do we take communion regularly? What benefit does that have to us? And what encouragement can we gain from that?